the buyer's estimated closing cost, which is here on your screen. Can you guys see all this?
Yep.
Okay. At the bottom, it's also buyer's estimated closing costs, but it's also the deposit money notice. One of the other things that we're obligated to tell the buyer is that who's holding their deposit. So this little box down here is where the listing broker, Weichert or REA Real Estate, whoever will be there, and the selling broker is us, Keller Williams. But you'll see that the listing broker is a Pennsylvania licensed real estate broker who's required to hold your sales deposit in escrow. And then selling broker is accepting your deposit on behalf of and for transfer to the listing broker. And then if the deposit is in the form of a check, the check must be made payable to the listing broker. So that's just a notice that they have to be given. If you use another form, there is another form in .loop, I believe, that does not have the deposit money notice. We are still required to let the buyer know where the money is going. So there is a form in the PAR forms that will that you can search for that's just plain the deposit money notice. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see. To work in the best interest of your buyers and to complete the estimate from the lender as well. Okay, that's from Michael. All right. So just to show you, I'm going up here to LBAR. I pulled this this East Makeda Road as a property that we'll use. And you all know that down here you can get the title, or I mean, not the title, but the all the tax certs, so you know exactly what city, county, and school district taxes are. But also there is in LVAR, under Finance tab, there is buyer's closing cost here. Do you guys ever use this one, this form? No? All right. Well, this is what it looks like. Sorry, Michael, I'll go move you over. We'll fill this one out too. It's not as, the regs say that you have to give them a line by line, a description of where the money goes. So the .loop one, did I just close that? Okay. The .loop one is the one that I know will give you exactly what you need to fill in. So let's start here. So obviously you put in 123 Main Street. And then you can put in the buyer's name, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then their settlement date. And let's just put it the 28th of March. And they're paying $250,000 for this property. Did I put too many zeros? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing you have to fill in, and these are, if you want to take a screenshot or whatever, or I can send to you a copy of my pre-filled in buyer's estimated closing costs. So I know that a closing protection letter is going to be approximately, and all of these are estimated, and that's what I tell my client when they're sitting down with me. You've got closing estimated, or closing protection letter is $150 approximately. Title endorsements, which is a title service fee, that's $50. Your notary fees and your recording fees, which means recording the new deed at the courthouse, is approximately another $200. I estimate property insurance to be $1,200 because that's easily divisible by 12. So then you can put property insurance over here at $100 a month. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Property inspections, I pre-fill at $400. Wood infestation, which is termite, is $150, and then radon will be $150. So, but if they need water or sewer, those fees will be put in there too. If there is any fee charged as a percentage of a loan, I just say to be determined. And then appraisal and credit reports for Fairway is $520. And then down at the bottom, this is where I put a transaction coordinator, transaction coordination fee at $350. So in general, you've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then what, 11 plus 12, you've got another $2,200. So plus another 1,000. So you're generally, just to get them through settlement without talking about title insurance and full inspections and whatever, you're talking about $3,000 is what this column will approximately estimate to. So the first thing you do is you look at the title insurance sheet, which is it's a state regulated insurance rates for title insurance. So there's nothing that you can, this is all done by the state. So just go down this. I use this alpha-adv or adv.net. It's a real easy table, unless you carry around the one, just a cardboard one. And then whoever's got some background noise going, can you put your speaker on mute? So then, so we're at, thank you. We're at, sorry, $250,000. So here's 250. 250 is down here at the bottom of this first page. And it is 1880. And I always use this, the first column, because it's always on the high side. This is the sale column. It just is, I just use it so you know that if it's less, they will get less money, or have to pay less money. So then I look at that total and I put it in here, 1,880. All right. And then the other thing that has to be filled in is transfer tax. That's always 1% of your total sale price. And then school tax. Now, one of the things I do for school taxes is that I will always put in this total amount here. It will be prorated. Sometimes it will be, obviously the seller gets credit back for the rest of the year of their taxes, but the next part of the year has to either be put in escrow or something else. So eventually, unless it's a cash transaction, your people are going to be spending somewhere around the total amount of taxes. So I put 6350, and I always round up so I have, shoot, come on, little thing. Move this over here. Okay. So 6359, right? And then that's it. So then you total up this side of the column, which I'll do on my handy dandy computer. 1,880 plus 400 plus 1,200 plus 6,359 plus 700 plus 520 plus 350. So that gives me a total of 11,409. Does anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay. Did I just turn everybody off, or did you turn yourselves off? Can you hear me?
I turned myself off.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. All right. So then for a $250,000 mortgage, do you want them to have a conventional mortgage, or do you want them to do a FHA mortgage? Because they're both going to be different. Doesn't matter. Okay. well, let's do conventional. So let's say they're going to put down 5%, right? So times 5%. So they're going to put down $12,500. And I'm just going to put this over here so that I don't forget that number. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the 12, their deposit, minus the purchase price, which will give you the amount they're going to mortgage. So 250 minus the 12,500 brings you to a total of 237, 500 for 30 years at 3.5%. Then I also I downloaded in an app. There's a lot of mortgage apps around. So I just download a mortgage app. It looks like this, you guys. Can you see it? It's just where you plug in the numbers and then you get a principal and interest payment. So I'm going to do that now, 250. Yep. And a down payment of 12,500 at 3.5% for 30 years gives me a monthly payment of 1,066. Well, I'll round it up, 067. Taxes is this number divided by 12. So we know that is 6,359 divided by 12 is $530 approximately, 530. They're going to pay some property insurance at $100, which is this number divided by 12. That makes it easy for all of us. And then if it's a condo, you have to put in the condo fee or homeowners association fee. And if they do have any mortgage insurance premiums, you have to put it in here. So 1,067 plus 530 plus 100 is 1,697. And this is when you ask your buyer, hey, can you afford $1,697 a month? Make sense? Do you know how, can you guys get here yourselves already? You think? Without any difficulty? Yeah, think so? Susan, you okay with it? Okay, all right. All right, so then we bring all of this down here to where they're purchasing the property for $250,000. 1, 2, 3, yep. Your estimated closing costs come from this number down here. So 11, 409. So their total needed is plus the 11,409 gives you 261, 409. They're going to mortgage 237,500. And they're also going to have deposits, total deposits of 12,500. Right? Yep. And so if you take 261 minus the 237,500 minus the 12,500 brings you back to 11,409. And that is usually the number that's going to be over here in this, on this side, right? So not only do they have to do they have to have $12,500 for a deposit, but they also must have an additional 11,409 to get through settlement. So then you're going to say to your client, do you have a total of 23,909? And if they don't, that's when you start to discuss, okay, well, maybe we should do seller's assistance, or maybe we should do some kind of manipulation of the price so that we can get you what you need for so that you're able to purchase the property. So, what are your questions? Turn your mics back on and let me know what your questions are.
Do you do anything as far as entering like PMI, or if it's an FHA, are you entering in there
This, yes,
for that?
I do. And I don't know, I never remembered the exact formula, because I
Okay.
think it's 25%. I'll have to ask Laura Kidd. I was going to ask her before I started, but I forgot. So sometimes, Jim, I'll just put in there another extra $150, just
Okay.
so they, or some number that's sometimes based on the you know, the amount of the mortgage. So at least I get a give them an idea that yes, you're going to have another $150 in insurance premiums.
Okay.
Do you guys want to see how this changes with seller's assistance? Yeah? Okay. All right. So let's say, so we'll make it an FHA loan, right? So they only need 3.5%. So 3.5% of 250 is what? If anybody's a mathematician, 250 times 3.5% is 8750. Now I'm just putting it over here so I remember what I'm doing. Okay, so 250 minus 8750 would mean that they have then a mortgage of 241, 250 for 30 years for at 3.5%. So I will go to my handy dandy calculator and figure that out. So 3.5%. Okay, 30 years. All right, so that's going to change their rate to, just checking my numbers, 3.5% down at 350 or 3.5. So you can see that this will change their rate to not very much, right? And that's sometimes how you can help somebody by changing their loan, how they would be able to maybe figure out a way to that would be more comfortable for them to purchase the property. So here you are, this is an FHA loan, 30 years for 3.5%. Your principal and interest is going to be $1,089. Your taxes are still going to be the same. Pardon me. Your property insurance will still be the same, but this is where your mortgage insurance premium kicks in. And I'm going to say it's going to be about $150, right? So with that said, hold on, just going to my calculator now. So 1089 plus 530 plus 100 plus 150 brings you, that changes things to by like $200, 869, right? But they only have to bring 8750. So okay, so then you've got 250 here plus the mortgage or the estimated closing costs on the left. It's 11,409. Total cash required is 261,409. Their mortgage is only going to be the 241, 250. So we go this way, 241, 250. And seller's assistance is 3.5%, right? So that's or no. Oh, you know what? I just wasn't thinking. Okay, they're buying it for 250. Then you've got, they're asking for 6% seller's assistance, right? Right. And they're putting down 3.5%, but still their mortgage is going to be 241. But 250 times 6% is $15,000. less their deposit of, what do we say it was? 8750. So then what they need to bring to the table is going to be different. 261,409 minus 241,250 minus 15,000 in seller's assistance minus 8750, which is their 33.5%. So they're in negative. So there's a negative 3,591. So what's going to happen is that they don't have to bring anything to the table, but that 3,591 will be used toward other costs, like maybe a year's worth of insurance. They can pay their insurance with that money, or Fairway can take some of their costs, some of these cost fees as a percentage of the loan to pay down this money to pay that down. So in essence, they don't bring any money, but they don't get any money either. Does that make sense? What are your questions? Yeah.
Hey, Diana.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good. I was just seeing if my computer speaker works, because
it works, man.
This thing's an antique.
No, it works. What do you think? What am I missing, Michael, Mr. Broker?
I missed the last few minutes because I was talking to Merrill, but I just wanted to say for FHA loans, did you address anything about FHA yet or no?
Yeah, we just did this one as an FHA.
Yeah, so for the seller assist, sometimes it's good for the agents to bear in mind that no matter what, the bottom line closing costs have to be 3.5% of the sale price.
Say that again. Let me think about that.
So for FHA,
yeah,
there's exceptions, but most of the time the buyer, no matter what, has to have 3.5% out of pocket for the sale, according to the sale price. So in your example here, 250, they would need, 7,000 plus, plus 1,800. So you don't want to make sometimes it affects the seller assist amount, is all I'm trying to say, is that they can't, depending on the price and the taxes, sometimes they can't use the whole 6%. So it's useful for the agents to know that so that they can write up better offers. Right.
Well, and that's a good thing to know too, you guys. That's another version of how you could do this. So this 3591, if you knew that was going to be the overage, and you would confirm that with Laura or Fairway Mortgage or whatever mortgage broker you're using. But say say your closing costs were only your closing costs were only 5%. So you might be able to shrink your 6% request for seller's assistance down to 5%. Does that make sense? And the other way, as a selling agent, if you receive something that says, well, my buyers want 6% seller's assistance, you can say, well, do they really need it? And the loan officer can really fine tune exactly how much they will need down to the penny. Anybody have any questions? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, can you send me or send us like a script, what you filled out here, just so I can reference it when I practice too at home? That would be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, and the other thing too is that we can use this one over here. I'm going to move this over here. This is the one that's under finance for buyer's closing costs, right? So you've got a purchase price of 25 or 250,000. Down payment was 3.5%, right? So they're asking you for that. So your down payment will automatically be calculated at 8750. Annual property taxes, what did we say they were? 6359. Okay, go back to where I was. Okay, so 6359. Annual insurance we know is $1,200, $100 a month. And then here's your monthly condo fee, if there is anything. Closing costs, we go, going back to this, we know that, so we've got closing costs of $400 here, and 400 plus 520. Wait a minute, let me just do it. 400 plus 520 plus 350. So 1270, not including taxes, right? So so we put 1270 in here. Escrow will be your deposit, which is 8750. Earnest money could be, and you can split this up if you wanted. So let's say earnest money was only $500 and the remainder would be 8250, right? So this would be your earnest money deposit when you wrote the offer of $500, and then the rest of it would be the rest of the 3.5%. Sellers paid costs. So let's say we asked for the 15,000. Interest rate, because this is the total 6% here. And then you've got loan amount, it was already calculated. And then interest rate, we put it 3.5%. And this is an FHA loan for 360 months. And so that gives you principal and interest of 1083. Where were we on the other one? 1089. Okay, good to know. And then you've got property taxes of $530, hazard insurance of 100, association fee doesn't apply, and then cash required at closing would be $2770 with a monthly payment of $1713.24. But this does not include the PMI insurance, so you'd have to add that in somewhere. Make sense? I'm going to take your silence as a yes. So, what else do you guys need to know? I'm sorry, Michael, go. Yeah.
Just in case everyone didn't see it, but Joe Corcoran put a good link to the KPSS.
Oh, great.
Tool. So
no, I didn't see it.
If you want to try that one too, he said it has a lot of things pre-filled in based on their numbers, which,
oh, okay,
you know, is something to check out in case somebody didn't see it on the message part of this meeting.
Is that going to be? Is that posted on the Facebook part?
I put it in the chat box.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Oh, and I just, all right, let me go look at the
And I
chat
just
box.
unmuted. I'm sorry I don't have my camera on, but I didn't do my hair today.
All right, so there's that, you guys. And I don't know, Joe, do you know if this, is the chat box going to be part of the video that's going to be up?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right, so if it doesn't, I'm just going to read this out loud so that everyone who may be watching the video in the future can see where to go. So it's www.titlecapture.com/app with a dash new NEW /Keystone Premier /login.
And
so
you can actually get to it faster than that just by going to kpsstitle.com.
Okay.
And down at the bottom, it says get a quote.
All
And
right, perfect.
you can set up an account in there. You can put in your own defaults for what, you know, you typically know that you're putting in, like your transaction coordinator or anything along those
property
lines.
inspection, that kind of stuff.
Right. So that it automatically fills those types of things for you.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that they had one. So there you are, everybody. You've got 3 different options then to use. What questions do you have, or what didn't I make clear, or if there's something that you do that might be a great tip for us, what can you share, if anything?
Do you typically get estimates from your lender?
I do, and thank you for bringing that up. I have always, since I started, I have always done my own buyer's estimated closing costs. We are expected to. The association and the expects us to do our own. Many people will use the estimated closing costs that the buyer gets with their pre-approval. I don't think, I mean, obviously you can do that, but in general, I believe if Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the law requires that we do one for our clients. So many people will take a shortcut and they'll just submit the what the lender uses. But I think it's really important as professionals to understand this process, and we understand how these numbers come about and how we can explain them to our clients. Because if we can't explain this, we don't look very professional in somebody else's eyes. We have to understand this. We don't have to understand everything down to the penny, because that's why we rely on you know, a lender to help us. And then secondly, I do it myself because many of us sell property on Saturdays and Sundays, and there's no guarantee that, well, first, let me back up. First and foremost, you should have a pre-approval with the person who is sitting in your car or as you're showing property to. If you don't, if you do, you know, give me 1 or 2 showings before they find something and want to get it pre-approved, then you might be in a situation where you'd be on a Saturday or Sunday and you're not able to get a hold of someone. And in this market with competing offers going on all the time, it's very, very difficult to get all of that information on short notice. So hence, you should be able to do this yourself, so that if the lender is not available or, you know, at a wedding or unable to help you at 10 o'clock at night, which they shouldn't, you can do it yourself. Does that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah, for sure. It was really more just so that on the bottom section, like number 6, where it's asking for lender fees.
Yeah.
If there were fees that we were able to put in there based off of what they sent over,
Yeah.
especially with like the mortgage insurance premium fees, because I know they can be pretty costly.
Yeah.
So I was really more geared toward knowing what the lender costs were.
Yeah, and honestly, I have always used the full years of taxes and put things on the high side, so that if there is something down here that I did not include, when this number gets fine tuned, I'm usually within $100 or $200 of what the vendors or the lender says anyway. So, but yeah, I think that's a very valid point. By using the lender's pre-approval numbers, you'll be able to fill these blocks in for escrow as well as insurance. Does anybody else have any questions? No? Michael, do you have any comments for us? No?
Sorry, I got stuck on the phone again.
No, that's all right. Oh, I can imagine your life is like on the phone. Do you have any comments for us that you want us to take away as a broker? All right, he's on the phone again. Okay. If you guys don't have any more questions, I think that's it. I think that's all I want to say. Tomorrow, I think I'm on the schedule to do sellers estimated closing costs.
Yes,
And then we can go from there. Susan, Parisha, do you have anything that you want to ask before we say toodaloo?
Nope.
No.
Toodaloo.
No, but thank you for doing this. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's good to, thanks for joining me. At least I didn't have an hour where I had to look at the same walls again. I got to see some faces I know and love.
All right, Diane. Diane, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Diane.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Thank you,
All right,
Diana.
take care. Bye.
Bye.